Hello everyone. Today we are going to analyze two important news articles published in the Hindu newspaper and understand their important concepts and terms. Let's begin.
Recently, assembly elections were held in Tamil Nadu. No single party won enough seats to form a majority government. The party that won the maximum seats approached the governor requesting to be sworn in as chief minister. However, the governor did not immediately agree. He asked them to submit a written declaration showing which MLAs were supporting them. Once that was submitted, the governor finally administered the oath. This situation sparked a major constitutional debate. First, let us understand how a government is normally formed. After assembly election, whichever party wins more than 50% of the total seats, that is 50% plus 1, is said to have a majority. The governor then appoints that party's leader as chief minister. The CM and other ministers are appointed by the governor under Article 164 of the Constitution. In a normal situation where majority is clear, the governor has no discretion. He simply appoints the majority leader. Now, what happens when no party gets majority? In this situation is called a hung assembly. It simply means that after the election, the assembly is hung. No single party or alliance has enough numbers to form a government on its own. Here is the important point. The Constitution does not specify any fixed rules for what the governor should do in this situation. This is where the governor gets discretionary power, meaning he can use his own judgment. Even though the governor has discretion, he is not completely free to do whatever he wants. He must follow constitutional conventions. Three principles of constitutional conventions are: first, constitutional restraint, that is, he should not overstep his boundaries. Second, neutrality, meaning he should not favor any political party. Third, prudence, meaning he should act wisely and carefully. His primary responsibility is to ensure that the state gets a stable government. He must act promptly and responsibly, not based on his personal political preference. The Sarkaria Commission of 1988 gave us a clear order of preference that the governor should follow while inviting someone to form the government. First preference goes to a pre-poll alliance, that is, parties that declared before the election that they will contest together. If that does not work, the single largest party is invited. If that also fails, a post-poll alliance, that is, parties that come together after the election, is considered. However, these are not a rigid fixed rules. In many real cases, even if a pre-poll alliance did not get majority, the governor invited the single largest party if they could show majority support. Ultimately, whoever can demonstrate majority support in the assembly gets the chance. What if nobody can form a government? In that case, the governor can recommend president's rule in the state. Under president's rule, the governor runs the state on behalf of the president, and the assembly is either suspended or dissolved. The Supreme Court in two important judgments has also said that the governor may dissolve the assembly under Article 174 of the Constitution. The reason is simple. A state cannot remain in a constitutional deadlock for a long time. It will affect the governance. Now let us come back to the controversy in Tamil Nadu. The governor asked for a written declaration of the MLA support before swearing in the chief minister. But the critics strongly argue that this is constitutionally wrong. According to multiple Supreme Court judgments, the majority of a party or alliance should be tested only inside the assembly through what is called a floor test. Even a committee of governors had recommended that the floor test is the correct and only legitimate way to verify majority. Asking for written letters outside the assembly is seen as going beyond the governor's constitutional role. Before we end, let us quickly go through some important key terms. Minority government is when a party that does not have majority forms the government with the outside support of another party. That another party supports from outside but does not join the ministry. Next is electoral mandate. It is simply the democratic verdict given by the voters during the election. President rule is when the governor administers the state on behalf of the president and assembly is either kept suspended or completely dissolved. And finally, floor test. And this is an open vote conducted inside the assembly to prove majority. There is no secret ballot in the floor test. Everything happens openly and transparently. Subscribe for more videos.